Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the memorial of the late Mr. Patrick Ndlovu. Just before we start, I'm going to ask the family to come and join us. Can we call the family to come and join us? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I asked for the tape to be played because for some of many of us will be embarrassed when we have to sing the national anthem. But also before we start, ladies and gentlemen, can I have a worship song while I open the floor for the Reverend Zita to come and open for us with a prayer.
So come, put your mouth out. Put your mouth away. Who will go sit on a gecko on Shika? Put your mouth out. Hello, my own. Our little corner can do it. My ego, see a bisama talk on all. Our ring. He can read CD. They got a hard fridge. When you enter the fridge. My ego, put your mouth out. I did not call it. Let her shabana. See a bisama talk on all. Mama, not to boost them out. Because we don't have anything to say to anyone. Mama, they are going to Sana wala jimile so. Leha kule kata jamu tu matawu. Leha dikeledi direke kamarane. Emare kalika. Reka kapote kule. Kuluki le kuluki. Iye sebeleti. Yemi model says. Tuela fele to come and touch each and everyone in Castle's back. So that's what you want to do. But I want to pass it over. But I'm saying, I'm going to go. Dira kata ponya na before. Dira kata mama di dalam. Dira kata saya bisa makan. Wana mo na kuludi. Ya wana amor na bisa kuludi. Wana mo fellow mama di dalam. Leha mawili ante aroma. Saya bisa makan wana di dalam. Kuludi ya kuludi. Kuludi. Kumano we know more. We know. Saya bisa makan wana lo. Kolo uduzi mabaleta kuka tiyakenze siyami tiyakemulimo matawoshe tsodimo kikerile mfanyanente yano khodimo mwele kora ajile bashola aswela mutho mfanyanente yano khodimo mwele kulimo matawoshe matawona amina ni hallelujah I praise the Lord kanya kutsotsoki mira kudile mutimo matawoshe
Thank you very much, You know, someone wants to find prayer in a very beautiful way, or explain prayer to me in a very beautiful way. And you know, it said, you know why you close your eyes when you pray? It's because as you pray, the images that you want, an image that you want to be in life, you can only see it in darkness. And he defined it in how also, you know, the new generation will know about those cameras that used to use film. That film would not be developed in the light. It will be developed in a dark room. So for that image that you want of yourself to be, you can only see it when you close your eyes. You know. So every time when you pray, it is all about putting those images, peaks that you want in your life, and creating those images. And thank you, Lord, for making us to close our eyes and look forward to remember
that day, Patrick Ndlovu Styles. Mema Ndlovu, and the daughter, and all the rest of the family, you are welcome. And thank you for coming and sharing this day with us as we remember the Styles. I think you will hear amazing stories about him, things that we probably even didn't know about him, but that he has shared with the world. You know, just a moment ago I was outside and I was talking to a brother of mine there. We are smiling, you know, on my left here. And you know, I think we shall have next door, the Yakule in Tanzania. You know, I took a pen, we got him as a check and a two. But he said one beautiful thing, and that is that it epitomizes Rapet. And Rapet will always say, so tell me boy, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know, and that is Rapet. You know, Rapet nami kulenga panswake. Yes, correct. Rapet, with your Wabanganwa. King Bajusa, work with him. You know, and these are the people that have paved the way for us. And Kani Majosi, my acting lesson, I first got it from him. And but also in the audience, I have somebody who infected me with the acting bug. You know, when I was 15 years old in 1975, Mufolo Hall, Mufolo Community Hall, about the AU2, there used to be a community hall there, if you were in 1976. I watched Leopold Mandela in How Long? Adalu Sajena Nyaganya. And he used to belt this song out of How Long? Help the black child in the streets, make his days ahead believe, make him read and write, make his future bright. Oh Lord, help the black mother and the father, help them get the child further. That's all I ask for, dear Lord. Each better song. But as we pay tribute and remember, Rapet, you know, I want to make some acknowledgements here. Rakib Sitole is here. I saw Owen Sejake outside. Who else is here? You know, these are the elder actors who paved the way for me. You know, there are many also who are still alive who have done that. There's Darlington Michaels, you know, Abanim Zumkumbula S. Papa G. You know, there's Raslailo, my lady. I never got to see him perform maybe in his youthful days. I only saw him perform when he came back from exile. I think he did Blame Me on History, which was a book by Blood Mudisani, which was adapted by the late Walter Chakela. You know, and I later had the opportunity of working with Yena Braslayo and the late Brasem Williams on this stage, and we were doing The Good Woman of Sharpeville. You know, I was recounting an incident that happened when we were doing The Good Woman of Sharpeville. Brasem one time came and, you know, he had a few. He had a few. It was and because I was one of the assistant directors of the play, I was given the duty to go and tell him he cannot perform. And then how do you go and tell him don't I wasn't performing because hey, I gathered all the courage and I went and Eamon Brasem and you know, Eamon, it looks like, you know, you won't be able to perform today. And he said, why? Why am I not perform? How do you answer that? You know, but at school they taught us euphemism, isn't it? Yeah, and I had to come up with some euphemism. And I said, no, I said, because, you know, I think you are just a little unsteady. And he said, I see. Now you must go and tell the whole world that Sam Williams could not perform because he was a little unsteady. But yeah, but those are my memories. And like I say, we are riding on the shoulders of giants. And I would like to read a poem in tribute to Rastayans. Somebody defined poetry as heightened emotion recollected in tranquility. And this poem for me captures Rastayans for me. It is titled The Truly Great, It is written by Stephen Spender, and it goes like this. I think continually of those who were truly great, who from the womb remember the soul's history through corridors of light, where the hours are suns, endless and singing, whose lovely ambition was that their lips, still touched with fire, should tell of the spirit, clothed from head to foot in song, and who hoarded from the spring branches their desires falling across their bodies like blossoms. What is precious is never to forget the essential delight of the blood drawn from ageless springs, breaking through rocks in worlds before our earth. Never to deny its pleasure in the morning's simple light, nor its grave evening demand for love. Never to allow gradually the traffic to smother with noise and fog the flowering of the spirit. Near the snow, near the sun, in the highest fields, see how these names are fated by the waving grass and by the streamers of white clouds and whispers of the wind in the listening sky. The names of those who in their lives fought for life, who wore at their hearts the fire's center. Before the sun, they traveled a short while toward the sun and left the vivid air signed with their honor. And there, this air today is signed by the honor of Brastiles. This morning when I was thinking of coming to jail, I wanted to get a history because I went on the internet, because now you can just Google things. And I wasn't finding a very succinct almost biography of Brastiles. And I had to call somebody that I know that he has a passion of trying to collect the history of our theatre, and that person is Sam Martin. Please indulge me when I read this article by Sam Martin that he wrote about Brastiles. And it reads that Ndlovu didn't act. He became one with his characters, a consummate and brilliant professional. The passion for his craft and the realistic touch with which he conducted himself in front of rolling cameras, and I added this one, on stage, are evident in every role he has portrayed. Let's just say, I didn't write that. Audiences could hear his booming, threatening voice and see menacing scorn and the menacing scorn on his face long after the list of credits had dropped down the screen. The old trooper was a rare breed and a natural talent in the business. In the early years of black television, Brastiles, as he was known among those among close associates and colleagues, was already a recipient of a treasured award bestowed on him for his consummate acting skill. The accolade was the Best Male Actor Award for exceptional performance in a lead role in Kumbula Tata in 1982, the first isiXhosa television drama series that was launched at the dawn of black television in the early 80s. It is a romantic tale of forbidden love and involves a devoted father who wanted the best for his daughter by arranging a loveless marriage for her with the son of a wealthy business partner. But to her father's disappointment, she only has eyes for a struggling motor mechanic. His next prominent role on the small screen was Ndlovu in William Faulkner's epic historical drama Shaka Zulu in 1986. Ndlovu is King Senzangakhona Kajama's prime minister and a resolute figure who's prepared to put his life on line in defiance of the ambitious and arrogant young prince Shaka Zulu, famously depicted by the late Henry Clay. In the Shaka series, Ndlovu's acting talent shines through among a constellation of local and global stars. The likes of Edward Fox, Bingo Benkimbonje, Robert Whitehead, Roland Mqwebu, Voyse Online, Simon Sabela, Sam Williams, Alfred Norway, Washington Sikolo, Nomsa Kaba, Daphne Shomuka, and the beautiful Dudum Kiza as Queen Nandi. Since this part, Brastiles has largely been typecast in villainous roles, which he seemed to have relished. Perhaps a lesser known but nevertheless colorful baby role is that of Cornelius Khate, the tough and ruthless underworld character in the SABC television series Honeytown in 1994. That was 2 years after Sarafina, the blockbuster and unseen film based on Bongeni Ngema's Market Theatre and Broadway hit stage production, the same name. In Sarafina, he portrayed the role of Mr. Victor Kumele, the irascible history teacher who replaces Mistress Mary Masombuka Goldberg after he's detained by the security police. Of course, his temperamental character backfires when pupils turn against him, triggering a riot that invited the ruthless intervention of the police. Years later, he revealed how scared he was when an assortment of missiles from the hands of school children rained on him during the shooting of the classroom scene. The attack was so real, I could feel their anger and defiance of authority, he said. And who can forget his no-nonsense character, Mr. Tembu, the school principal in the landmark TV series Yizo Yizo. Ndlovu, the heartless drug lord and undertaker in Zone 14. The SABC football series was the culmination of these values. Born in November 15, 1938 in Randfontein in the West Rand, Patrick Ndlovu was raised in Old Madubulaville, a freehold location whose black and colored inhabitants were forcefully removed under the Group Areas Act and relocated to Mohlakeng and Dukomsres Township respectively. In his teenage years, he was a gifted drummer destined for greatness in the world of jazz. However, a fortuitous encounter with Gibson Kente, the father of Township Theatre, slightly changed his course. Kente introduced him to stage musicals and he subsequently performed in Sikana, Lifa, and How Long in 1974. The last being the most famous of Gibson Kente's stage productions, the one that got me into this mess. Around this time, he also worked with Des and Dawn Lindbergh, folk singers and the most influential showbiz couple in the world of stage musicals at the time. In 1973, they staged a version of Godspell, originally a 1971 off-Broadway musical based on the Book of Matthew. It premiered in Maseru, Lesotho, where it enjoyed a successful run for 5 months. Plays don't even run more than 4 weeks these days. But when it later opened at Wits, authorities banned it on the spurious reason that it was blasphemous. The real reason was that the cast had a multiracial character. The couple challenged the banning in the Supreme Court, and in a landmark case, the judge ruled in their favor. Poor Apartheid was in trouble as the production opened its doors to audiences of all cultures. Ironically, when Des and Dawn released, and the seagull's name was Nelson, about a boy who rescued an oil-soaked bird, they failed to decipher its actual political connotations. Robben Island prisoner Nelson Mandela and his quest for freedom. Their next production with Patrick Ndlovu, The Black Mikado, premiered in Diepkloof Hall, Soweto in 1976. The cast was made of the creme de la creme of black performance at the time. They included Ben Sechmasinga, Tandy Klassen, and daughter Lorraine, saxophonist Duke Makasi, Harriet Matiwa, singer Sammy Brown, Spoiler Star, Koki, Two Boots of Talimani, Felicia Mariam of Joy fame, Bruce Miller, and bassist Sipo Gumeda of Spirits Rejoice. The Black Mikado went on to play nationwide to critical acclaim before it toured Greece and Israel. One of the most successful shows at the market during the dawn of the democracy was The Good Woman of Sharpeville, an adaptation of Bertolt Brecht's The Good Woman of Szechuan, described as a parable play on urban poverty. Adapted by Ndlovu and Janet Sussman, who also directed it, it found a new life in a post-apartheid South Africa in a fictional city named Sharpeville, a dangerous place inhabited by villainous characters. This is, of course, Patrick Ndlovu's territory. And in many theatrical works, he shared the stage with some of the country's luminaries, like Selina Maridi, yours truly, Nomsane, Maggie Williams, Silom Ndlovu, Alistair Dube, Pamela Nomvete, James Noble, and the late Linda Lyon Butelius. Other screen roles included Cry Freedom in 1987, A Dry White Season in 1989. Patrick Ndlovu died of natural causes at his London Randfontein home. He is survived by his wife and daughter. You couldn't have asked for more. And thank you so much for putting that together, because many of our histories will be lost for the next coming generation. Ladies and gentlemen, I ride on the shoulders of giants who were before me. Some of them are in here, some are out of here, some have actually left us. Without much ado, I would like to call upon Gift GK Lidimu to give us a song, not just one, please, just a song, and then we'll ask the family representative to be ready, Mr. Gabriel Jabu City, just to be ready as they finish, you could come up, and be ready to come up. Babu City. Thank you.
Jesus, we
a meme, you know. There's a meme, you know, when a man went to, you know, to heaven, God will ask for you know, when they have to choose whether the man goes to heaven or hell, and God will ask the man if ever he's been married. And if the man has been married, he says, no, he's been through hell enough. He can go to heaven. Knuckle City, Knuckle City, there's some ladies and gentlemen, Knuckle City, and choir, and PA. Thank you. Thank you. I'm share this out.
Good afternoon, everybody. My sister, the Arts and Culture Fraternity, the agency, production companies that are represented, his friends, friends of the industry, members of the public, members of the family, and friends, all protocols observed. Today I'm standing here not to mourn, but to celebrate a life well lived. And before I continue, I'd like to apologize to Mr. Mate and Mr. Mike Gazumbe, because some of what I might read from my speech might sound like plagiarism. Actually not. But I think it talks to the person he wants. If we see the same things from the family perspective and from the public perspective, then it must truly be how we live this life. Transparent, professional, and truly a giant in his profession. A man who has not only touched his peers and family, but a man who's touched the entire South African society at large. So I greet you this afternoon with all humility I can muster. Patrick Voyse Ndlovu, as we know him at home. Some of you obviously were stars, was my brother. Hence I respectfully call him Booty, as a lot of good Afrikaner boys would know. I must hasten to say that he is not related to me through birth. Oh no, we are related through marriage, as he was married to my elder sister. However, the day he walked into my life more than 40 years ago, I must actually comment here. Talking to my sister the other day, I think it was Friday or Saturday. On Saturday, they would have been married 41 years. So it died just a few moments before their marriage. Okay. So he was married to my elder sister. And to me, he became a brother. Became a brother not because brothers are blood brothers only, but brothers are brothers because they are brotherly. They support each other. They love each other and love intensely without hesitation, without reservation, without judging. That is the guy he was in my life. So he became that person. He was a confidant, not to only me, but to many. A mentor, a friend. And later, when my father passed on in 2001, he really took that position of a father figure. So to me, he not only represented a brother, a confidant, and all these wonderful things I've just said, but he became a father figure to me. He became this person that I could go to about anything. We cried many tears together when I had issues, or when he had issues. We really became very, very close, and were able to guide and help one another. My blood family and his now just did not end in a relationship between my sister and him and myself and him. Our two families, the Msitini family and the Ndlovu family, became one because of him. Okay. The two families, as are seated here today, are one in spirit and in practice, and have been ever since we got to know each other. Therefore, as I speak on behalf of the family, the Ndlovu family today, we appreciate the privilege and the honor of having to share our experience of him with the industry today, from our perspective, from a family perspective. The danger of a single story is a concept famously explored by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie in her TED Talk. She explained that if we only hear a single story about a person or a group of people, we risk a critical misunderstanding. A single story creates stereotypes. And the problem with stereotypes is that it's not that they're untrue, but rather that they're incomplete. So you may make decisions and create perceptions that are incomplete. We would like to share a little bit about him today from a family perspective. And we're grateful today for the privilege that you've given us to share another dimension of Ubuntu that you may not have been aware of. It is not always possible for the public or peers in the industry to know the brother, the father, the husband, all the roles a person plays in his private life once the cameras have been switched off, the curtains have been drawn, are usually obscured to the public eye. As I say this, I even wonder how fate is to try, in a short moment, to create a perception that people might not know about the individual, when they know what they know, that they've seen over a period spanning over 40 years in industry, in public eye. So, however, allow me to please try and honor his memory by sharing with you those things that really mattered to him the most. The things that we believe has impacted immensely the family and our lives, and has shaped how we view life, has shaped how we want to be perceived as individuals, has shaped what we want to achieve in our own individual lives, and excel in our chosen professions. All of us, as a family, are truly grateful he was a part of our family, and was able to influence us in so many ways. Patrick really, truly, and honestly loved his family. There is truly nothing that would have stopped him from providing, protecting, and advancing the interests of his family. I'll give an example. I recently had a story about 2-3 months ago, didn't know about it, that he caused such a commotion once at a supermarket when some grown man had pushed his then young little daughter from the counter. As explained to me when the story was narrated, he literally chased the child bully out of the store and was prepared to baptize the demon with his bare hands, if only it were not for the security and the store management. That's a love he had for his family. He worked tirelessly to provide for his family. Unfortunately, as many luminaries here would know, there are a lot of ups and downs in the industry, and seasons are not the same. In spite of all this, he made sure to do whatever it took to care for his family. immediate family, that's it. Ensuring they had a proper home to call their own. Ensuring that one day, as the eventualities occurred, there would be no suffering when he was born. He owed no man no debt at the time of his passing. Often, his work took him away from home. There was a time I lived in Cape Town, and more than once he had shoots in the mother city. We would spend lots of hours together. And during those nights, we would never stop talking about his wife and his kid. Every now and then, probably every 30 minutes, he would think, oh, I wonder if they're okay. Do you think I should call them? Or, no, let's leave them for later. He just constantly, they were constantly in his mind. Beyond that, he loved the broader family. During the holiday seasons, or any time in the year in between, he never missed an opportunity to welcome members of the broader family for a big lunch on a Christmas day, as an example, or a Sunday lunch, for no reason. But everybody in the family knows they were always welcome. At these events, he always talked about the importance of family and how much he loved his family. I can almost hear his voice saying, "This is family. Yes. This is family. It's all of you, no one else." Okay. He was an amazing man. I have countless memories to share, but I'm not going to bore you with them because I think I've made my point about how much he loved his family. The generosity that we've all experienced was unparalleled. Over the years, he really became the matriarch of both families, the City and the Ndlovu family. He became the go-to person for everybody. As I reflect on his life, it became clear to me over time that we really lost a leader in this family. Since his passing on Tuesday night, I cannot help but listen to all the stories that are shared by the family members. He inspired us. Every moment with him was an educational experience. It was an opportunity for him to guide and motivate a young man. A neighbor, and also a man I call my brother from Ndlovu. Okay. Shared a story recently that his first encounter with Prastadas has never been erased from his memory. At the time, this young man happened to be looking at studying at university and sharing a story of how he's been inspired to go and study at university. Prastadas, who he was, immediately used the opportunity to encourage him to play on and make sure that when he's done his study and has moved on with him and has got a career, he will do the same favor to others. Personally, after finishing my matric, I had a desire to study film, but I could not due to finances. So I went and worked at a mine in Secunde, but he could not rest until the time he saw me take that first flight in my life to travel to Cape Town and further my studies. This just goes to show the inspirational leader he was, leading without the position, leading without the title, but just being himself. Ever so often, I heard him tell one or another member of the family how intelligent they were, how important they were, how they needed to take their place in society and be proud of their contribution. And how proud he was of them every time they shared their successes with him. Those are memories that cannot be forgotten. He loved education. Based on the two stories I've just shared with you, we can already note that as well. During his life, During his life, he and the family faced many challenges. The one thing he did not compromise on was ensuring the education of his daughter. He made sure that she got the best possible education with the resources he had. Beyond that, he truly encouraged her to become the best version of herself. Many years after, my sister, his wife, had enjoyed an illustrious career in the medical industry, Obuti encouraged her to study further as she changed direction and went into management. And he supported all the way while she was doing that atrocious MBA degree. And he was supported in many ways, more than just encouraging her. He made sure when she came home, certain things were already taken care of, and she didn't have to worry about them. When she went to do group studies, he made sure he took care of himself and whatever else needed to be done in the home. His nephews and nieces, is that what they call nieces? Oh, forgive me, I'm not English. Everybody in the family got the best encouragement and support from him. Not only to study, but to go on to become what they were destined to be. So many of us became notable contributors to our chosen professions, hopefully to society at large as well. All the time because we did not want to disappoint him. It is very interesting to me now to note that the encouragement we got from him, he applied in his own profession as well. Patrick was extremely dedicated to his craft. He literally left no page unturned when he was preparing for a shoot. More than memorizing his lines, he always wanted to make sure he understood the context behind the lines. He made sure he wanted to be one with the character he played. Patrick would stay up all night if he had to, in preparation for the day ahead or the week ahead. He would not even leave the study room sometimes on weekends, where he would just labor at getting the script right. And he would get very frustrated and agitated with himself if he was not getting things right. And when he finally get it, then he said, many a times I came to visit, and he would just come and greet, grab a cup of tea, and he would say, "Jaro, sorry, I gotta go," and he would continue with his work. Sometimes he would even solicit the help of my sister. He would make sure she takes the script while he lays his lines, and she would tell him where he misses the point and so forth and help him until such time he's mastered it to his satisfaction, to his high standards. He was a true professional who personified to me in the family true commitment and dedication. Years back, after the first airing of Yizo Yizo, and at the height of Zone 14, I visited with a friend. It was a Sunday, and we had a Sunday light with his family. After we left, driving in the same car, my friend commented, "How can such a nice and kind person play such ruthless roles so convincingly?" And I didn't answer. He answered himself. He said, "I guess it's true that good actor." I fully agree with my friend. But the point I'm making here is that he was truly an honest and kind man. I find it really interesting that my friend noted that in just one sitting with him. Okay. As a family, however, we felt his kindness in all our lives because there is no trauma or sadness or event in the family that he was not a part of. Always offering help and support. It was truly a relief when he was around because we knew that things would start moving in the right direction. For that, we will truly miss him. He was a disciplined and honest man. Those who happen to know him, I estimate in the last 2 decades or so, may not know that he used to drink and smoke. However, one day he just stopped. Was that easy? Definitely not. I know many of his struggles after he stopped this drinking and smoking. However, he looked beyond the pain of self-discipline, as he considered the pain of regret was far worse than the pain of self-discipline. Years later, he was diagnosed with diabetes and immediately changed his diet and stuck to the health diet for a better part of his life, up to the end. Many a times I've observed how when we sit around the table and there's very nice food, how he would pick what he knew would support his health. That is an indication to how he disciplined himself throughout life on major issues of life. He took his insulin tests religiously. I've never known a person as disciplined as he was. His honesty was sometimes embarrassing to us as a family. Everybody, family or not, you knew exactly where he stood with me. He did not mince his words. He spoke the truth according to brass tacks. And that was it. He spoke his mind without fear or favor. It did not matter who he was talking to. He just spoke his mind. Although that cost him, however, he remained committed, he remained resolute, he remained hopeful that things will change and improve for the better, not for himself, for everybody in the industry. He was also very excited when this news around legislation that might change and regulate the industry differently. It's a pity his passing came prematurely before we saw that reality happened. In the last few months, In the last few months, his health started really showing deterioration. And consequently, he started adjusting his life to allow him to prioritize his health. This meant also he had to remove himself from public office, and that included him removing himself from the church public office where he was in the finance committee. All because he just realized his health was not going in the direction that he liked. In the middle of May this year, I had the honor of sharing a Sunday lunch with him at his request. I could see that his strength had taken its toll, and sadly the next day he went for more medical attention and he was admitted to hospital. Little did we know as a family that he wouldn't come back alive. As already mentioned, he left us on Tuesday evening. So as I close, I must say that we are having to do some serious adjustments in the families. Transition isn't always comfortable, but it is framed by opportunities and sometimes calamities. We therefore need to look deep within ourselves to find ways through which we can actually learn to live without Ubuntu. He may be gone, but he lives forever in our hearts. As a family, we know that it's not going to be easy, but we are truly grateful for his great contribution in our lives. We hope that, as we will probably hear from his peers and friends, that he made a positive contribution to you as well, and the public at large. We are thankful for the outpouring of everybody's love and support from all walks of life. And this we came to as we seek to find a way to live on without him in our lives. Mr. Servant, I thank you.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Sitini, for a lovely tribute to Osiris. But did you hear when he started speaking, what did he say? He said, MC, sir, let's not forget that. I didn't knight myself, he just knighted me. Thank you, Mr. King. I would like to call upon the stage Miss Nina Morris Lee from MLA Agency, Munin Lee Agency. Please give her a round of applause. You know what, you're not making numbers, you make up with noise.
Speaking about plagiarism, I think I'm about to do it again. But I'm going to spare you because I think when Angus even comes up here, you may say some things that I would have said, so I'm going to just cut mine in half. But firstly, before I start, I'd like to express our deepest condolences to Patrick's family and friends during this really difficult time. Today we mourn the loss of an exceptional actor whose talent transcended the boundaries of stage and screen, and we also celebrate his life and honour his legacy. I'm not going to go into his biography because, as I said, we've been there already. However, I want to say that Patrick continued to work, even though he struggled with his health. He continued to work this year, and in fact, he starred in Knuckle City, I think it was, Durban General, and Queenstown Kings, which is only coming out on Netflix towards the end of this year, and also Cash in Transit, which will be in cinemas at the end of this year. So he literally worked to the end. And that is really testament to the man that he was. MLA represented Patrick for over 30 years. I think that's just astounding. We're going to be 50 years old next year, so that's an innings. When I first met Patrick, it was almost 10 years ago, at Moon's 70th birthday party. My first impressions was of a kind and gentle and charming man with a smile that could light up the stage. I just loved his smile, because even when times were tough, he was always smiling, which I'll never forget about him. I remember taking a photograph of him and Moon together, which is actually, it's been shown on the screen a couple of times. And I was struck by the closeness of their relationship. Patrick was, by the way, part of MLA's furniture at that stage. I think it was actually favourite furniture, because he was definitely favoured. Fast forward to 2020, when I stepped into MLA, Patrick came in for some headshots, and we took a little bit of time to chat about the connection and friendship that he shared with Munin and how she assisted him in his career. And all of a sudden the penny dropped. I understood what it was that connected the two of them, and I understood their relationship so much better. Thereafter, he would pop into the office regularly, and we would talk about an actor's life, all its challenges, many challenges, and the joys, including our love of jazz, which we shared. And he was astounded when I told him that I'd seen Miles Davis live. He nearly platzed on the spot. He was like, what? Couldn't believe it. And then after that, every time I saw him, we were talking jazz and Miles Davis, which was amazing. Patrick was easy to talk to. He was warm, he was humble, he was grounded and really passionate about his craft. And he was loved by so many people. And it's so interesting in times like this, sadly, that's when we find out how much a person is loved. But when we've posted things on social media in the past week, what's been extraordinary is just the outpouring of love from everybody, and even those people in the public, as you say, that didn't know him, can remember the different characters he played, especially from Yizo Yizo and from Zone 14. Although my time spent with Patrick was very short and limited, he left an indelible imprint on my heart. On behalf of all of us at MLA, we were proud to represent such a consummate professional, and he will sorely be missed by us all. His vast body of work will continue to inspire us and generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nina. I'm going to read a message from Peter Terry, and as I'm reading this message, could Putuma stay away? You know, I've said when I started that I ride on the shoulders of giants, and there were those who were before me who paved the path that I am, that I later took on in life. This is a message from Peter Terry. Peter Terry is an actor. He was the former head of drama at the State Theatre. And he says, it's many years since, do you see my glasses? I need to go to that one now, because the print is small here. You know when you are young, you just think you're going to stay young forever. And I remember when I started, even now when I sit down, I realize I'm beginning to make the noises my father used to make. My father, when he sat down, he would go, and he would make even more noise when he stood up. He said, hey! But now, when I started noticing him more, I started saying, but his problem was he came as a societal. So he would never be seen dead in spectacles. And now when he used to read the newspaper, he would read like this. And go like this. So now that sickness is here now with me. Peter Terry writes, it's many years since I worked with Patrick Ndlovu, but I remember him clearly as a noble human being whose handsome face and unique voice matched his dignity and character. His presence and energy and his work ethic all meant that he never coasted, but always gave off his dynamic best in leading and supporting roles. The State Theatre Drama Company, and I want you to make note of that, the State Theatre Drama Company was a true ensemble, and Patrick was a team player. In football terms, his name would always have been one of the first on the team sheet. I salute you, Patrick, one of the finest actors of your generation. May you be in peace. Thank you, Peter. Patuma, could you please come on stage and give us your rendition? Artists have got a very special gift. Artists have got a very special gift, but we are the most underrated. Sometimes, you find, when the Archie fame started, and you find this, hey, Archie, I'm fine, and I'd say to the agents, shooting that those seconds one thing out there. We have our do you go to a doctor and say, hey, doctor, stand by me. And I'm fine, I'm not okay to all around. You do that. But anyway. These are the giants that I have taken from. Rakit, please grace us with your presence on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Rakit, please give me a good one.
Votum and Votum joy. Then I'm going to do very much. Program Director, and some of the friends I see around here, but most importantly today, to the Ndlovu family. Thanks for this opportunity. Departure of a great theatre, television, and film legend, Patrick Styles Ndlovu. Talent par excellence. And when you spoke about talent and asked him why the Gibson Kent stable, we had 5 of them at a time, he would say to us, come to Didi, the center of talent, and he would coach your Patrick Matebulas, your Tama Matebulas in boxing, your Asian Zolings, your Banks and Tony, and he would coach the Lemkaranas, the Mutualis in journalism, and he would continue. And we say to Nariti, I'm in the sea of talent. That's the man we are about today. And I want to start by saying, Nina Ndlovu, Nina Gajim, Nina Wayawanyat, Tina Silas is what in the beginning, nice about which. Nice about which. It was late in 1974 that he embraced many of us at the DOCC in Orlando East. Darrington Michaels, Juma Membe, Situ Tomasilo, Nomsa Nene, Macintosh Kaede, Witumelo Dijwe, Susan Teletane, Harriet Peary, and a host of others, including the fresh boy you see on this stage. And we're all under the watchful eye of the great Gibson Kente, and the Styles was one of those who mentored us. Since then, we become focused in honoring and making sure that our craft grows. We owe it to him and his colleagues of thespians of the time, the Ndaba Mtongos, the Kenny Machoses, the Simon Mabuno Sabelos, the Mary Twalos, the Pat Mabue, the Sagiti Damini, and a host of icons we look up to for survival in this strange environment, which had us, as the young actors then, set us up at loggerheads with our parents. Because we were driven by our passion, and the parents were bothered about a sustainable future for their children. And that's where the coalition came through. And we'll go back to Styles and say, Styles, how did you manage this? I said, you can die, but they don't try to find money. That's this one's one. In the midst of those contradictions, we still soldier on. We become focused in honoring our craft. His sharp voice of reprimanding us still resonates in our ears to this day. We owe him a great deal of gratitude. Truly, we cannot hesitate to repeat and say, Styles, bravo. For your guidance, we are perpetually grateful, and others gone before you. You are already lining up awaiting your arrival at the Celestial Depot. They will be applauding you and giving you the deserved standing ovation as you check in. Because even on stage or even outside the stage, if you did something wrong, he would reprimand you immediately. And he would go say, Brady, yeah, Brady, come on. And so ignorance. You have the right to stop. Whether you like it or not. Passbook Magwaza, in how long at the time, had spoken. When I was doing, as the program director said, Sajin Yaga Yaga, he was doing and portraying so well, Passbook Magwaza. And that's the passbook that many people don't know at the beginning of our problems. and we put it on stage. And that's why when we went out to different areas, there are areas where we're not allowed to perform. Areas like Hormonstad, areas like Pickle Beef, areas like Pretoria sometimes, areas like Devon, where we're removed while performing. And all because Lyric Theatre was a white theatre at the time. And we were doing things like, that time we did theatre called protest theatre. And that's where your Sidowansis come from. That's where the islands come from. The night of the long week come from. And many others come from. Survivor by Barbara Slyro Marelli come from. And many others come from that era. And that is why sometimes some of us will be wondering what has happened to the people that are in charge today, that they will be forgetting the kind of contributions, your styles in Ndlovu, your Voyse Online Burial, your Jomo Penas, your 10 Campus, and many others did to where we are today. All of a sudden, we are this forgotten bunch that are packed somewhere with no benefits whatsoever. What a contradiction. Do we forget so quick? It is them who made contributions into what is called today the Department of Arts and Culture. We wrote white papers, we submitted green papers, and the Molins of this world were there, the Carol Steinbecks of this world were there, the Nageli Ribandes were there, the Kani Shumers were there. Fortunately, it's Connie's birthday today, wherever she is. Happy birthday, as we say, bye-bye to Brastine. All these people were there. And we were making sure that there is a future for the Department of Arts Culture. And today there is a future for the department, but no future for the authors of those policies. What a contradiction. At the departure of an arts legend, it might be worth our while to zoom into the creative arts sector and dig deeper to seek to understand, for the advantage of any other child from the Ndlovus who might want to follow the uncle, who might want to follow the grandpa, who might want to follow the cousin and say, I would want to refer, or I would want to do as uncle did or as grandpa did. Maybe it would be good for us to begin to understand the creative arts sector and dig deeper into it. What type of work? Who is an arts practitioner? How are they meant to survive? What structures are meant to be protective to the arts practitioner? The regulatory framework in the arts sector, all the myriad of corporates operating in our country rely on a number of bodies, institutions to sustain their operations. In the health sector, you've got your nursing council. In your education sector, you've got your Section 27 and many other bodies. They are meant to make sure that the particular sector is driven the direction that is correct, that will sustain their operations, not in the creative economy. In any work environment, there must be a body or institute, council, or government department established for regulating that particular industry goes the right direction, not in the creative economy. It might look glamorous, glittering from afar, but as you zoom closer, it is very gloomy. And those are the kind of things that we need our young people to be knowing. But yeah, it's not only glamour and glitter, there's also gloom. It is the only creative economy that one is aware of, that doesn't have a bargaining council, that doesn't have your CCMAs, that doesn't have all the kind of benefits that all employer and employer bodies have, an operational platform where we engage to better the conditions of the working area in which we are. No, those things don't. They're not there. The creatives operate in a very vulnerable sector. There's nothing like an injury to one is an injury to all here. Here, we must go there. You will see to finish. If all the above don't exist, does it mean the creative arts sector will remain permanently temporal? And exploitation of the talented in our country continues unabated? It means the cultural workers' benefits is a dream deferred, and one then is bound to ask. One is bound to ask, why did the League of the Styles and Ndlovus, the Voyse Online decide to write those white papers and green papers to establish the department? To serve which purpose, one may ask? Or where is our tax serving us alternatively? Because we are also taxpayers, we are not exempted from paying tax.
25%.
I wonder, the 25% that we are always charged, at what stage does it go some form of contribution to develop this very place that we're talking about? And we call it all the beautiful names. And we're the only ones, by the way, who have not been declared officially so. Nurses are declared officially so nurses. Educators, plumbers, electricians. We are the only ones who do not have an official name from the Department of Labor. One day you're an actor, one day you're a practitioner, the other day you're an arts practitioner, you're a communicator, the other day you're a social commentator, the other day you're an artist. You don't have an official title. That is universal. And these are the challenges that unfortunately stalwarts like Styles and Ndlovu leave behind. I want therefore to conclude by saying, we hope the powers that be in general, but the Sports, Arts and Culture Department in particular, will be decisive about the future of the South African taxpayers being the creative arts workers. The quicker some solutions are found, only then shall the arts legends like Styles sleep eternally and peacefully, fix the script of those that remain on our stages and platforms. If they wake up to do that, the Styles and Ndlovus of this world will truly rest. For now, the Styles, it's a wrap. And thank you very much that already your Multakeni group is waiting for you to welcome you and show you the new rehearsal room. There is Peter Kit Mofuro waiting for you. There is Sidney Carr waiting for you. There is Victor Sipiwa Metamakulu waiting for you. There are all there waiting for you. There's Koiki Mutambe waiting for you. Those Gromafela waiting for you. There's Ken Kampu waiting for you. There's Kenny Majosi. I can come till tomorrow. The entire cast is a grand time to work.
Just know that all this is live streamed, so meaning that the youth, you know what to do with these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I ride on the shoulders of those who were great. Like it's so like even the beginning of the you know, young people today don't know where we come from. And, you know, there's there are times when I interact with them, and young people today are fearless. They're really fearless. They're not like us. But they don't understand why we are fearful. Let me just break it down a little bit for you, young people. He was talking about the character that was called Bas. Young people today don't know what Bas means, but I'll give you a little story. I had an uncle, and long day low pain in one is, by the time it was 87, we're traveling, I was going to give him something, at that time, I mean, more often as somebody found no draw by game, looking at ATM. So I had to go with him to town to go and withdraw him mine to us in the years. I think from Lasala Kona to Kwaminji, it's almost like 2.5 kilometers. And we walked that journey until we got Kwaminji. And as we get Kwaminji, citizen get a taxi and he goes, and 1986, PW Bota has abolished the arrest of passbooks. He traveled back to go get the passbook. And just realized with how mentally, psychologically, the apartheid is insane. During apartheid, as a black person, you never knew when you are right or wrong. You are always bongazaz ubutubupi. Maupiswa ipoisa or iboom. You're already on ngenzeni wrong. Oh my God, food. You know what I mean? And how that has affected the psyche of black people's stories. But yeah, as you young people become fearless, but maybe we need to actually have you guys sit down. Let's have a sit down and share these stories so that you understand why abazali paid. Sometimes young people think they're not being affected by apartheid. You know what I mean? You know what? You have slept and woke up with the effects of. Let me not preach. And get on. Is the video ready? Is it short? You ready to press? Press up.
Let's begin. Hakiki Krisma. Bangere Munda. Hakiki. Intaga wala lisu. Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? The year is only beginning, and already the school looks like a ghetto. I trust that you have not forgotten the 3 golden rules of Super Safe.
Smart dress, cleanliness, and
Smart dress, cleanliness, and discipline. Go out there and drum it into the new students. They must learn to obey without thinking. Habit must win over their minds. I want this school scrubbed from top to bottom. And as for those old students, I want you to remind them that they are back at Super Safe.
I thought corporal punishment was no longer allowed.
Miss Bell, May I see you in my office?
You said the textbooks will be delivered this morning. When will they be delivered?
I hope I don't have to phone you again.
You wanted to see me, Mr. Ntemi?
Miss Brenda, I've met many young teachers like yourself coming straight from university with new ideas. They want to change everything.
No, sir, not really.
Don't worry. I know how it is when you're still at university. But you're going to have to learn that the real world is different.
Sir, I would appreciate it if I could see a copy of Subatani's Code of Conduct.
Remember, Miss Brenda, you're a temporary teacher here. Don't step on too many toes, especially mine.
You don't have to come with the old country.
Vaccine, setting, Saregati, se ne tegate.
Soldier, leads the pig. Successful. Some of them are over in Spanish. For a house and bring at the weight. What top shot? Barbe special. Say, go. You know what I'm catch you. You know what I'm I'll pay the winter. Oh, you know how I'm Mr. Pig. Ladies and gentlemen, Kajeko delivered that name while we were in the Wabasi. Or other you say baby on Fasi. Or other Nina, le ball. They are not trying to go once. Kapaya King, the Kababa Mobishi. King, I do it. Nina would like to marry. Tabatona case and chips in the parents. Yizo Yizo, Jose Kale, China Boys, Theatre. Yano Mboya Pape Polo for Nina the King. Kipichi, Kiburile de Maspana, the Gepatera Padere. Yano King, they are all holy. What that was a China Boys going in the police Goji. Banana, but that's a mega Mobishi. Tulina and King.
When the two will happen.
Slash, Ndlovu. It's a real one was in someone to a house. Perfect. I'm sure we'll see us a home as soon as you want to say about Fela. Leave this.
Oh, I saw Behold, work as excessive. They hold up the started one. Papa, who could be bring Jaffe. They go here on a walk. What is it? One color.
It's expensive. Why do you busy with Ndlovu? They're on jail. That's how I told her now to man. Was it free or sure?
Sledge. Come on, we said, I said, okay. Why is it more fast in your road? The one is going to be succeeding here with the whole. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Ah, Nandi.
Lena ngiyona social visit. Ngizokutshela nje ukuthi ngiyazi ngendaba kanina noSikhalo.
Bayithi no asose sisafika muthe tsaki. Ekana loyithi
Lento ephelile engifuna ukuthi uKing azi nayo.
Yanokhora khore na lewena please speak. Kade
Uma uKing angezwe ngale ndaba. Ngizokwenza sure ukuthi iphathi edlalwa unina ukusedusa umzulu wami iyaziwa wonke umuntu. Ama-actions akhe azoba ndaba mlonyeni wonke umuntu angaba lapha ngela sodolena lasezomfotini. Yabona lento abathi yihlazo ifana namashini egama landlord.
Nina akira to bona wana awa bukhwa ale setia Nina postale la go ya go itse maka a go mo go itse ni bete mo lefatse go phaka
Papa, don't take enough for Lisa. Why not have a father in her?
Redemption.
Eh, Papa, but why is that? Why not have a change?
Eyamna modimo a itshware aba tlhatswa ditsetsa
Papa, no. It's not as simple as that, Papa. Don't tell me it's okay with that. You're saying to roll up pela, or modimo a tshwara le fela jwa. Why is that saying go pela go decent?
Dimo kwa Nina.
She said, Papa, Nakon can feel like a bit time. And the family is too close and until it ends up keep frustrated, but it's not easy.
Eyamna ke itsi a gona speak. Ona o itshore ole wira.
Exactly.
Kana Nina, wena di utsago di mo so futhi. Nguma ha we go be. O se ka dumela gore ba kwa spia ba ile go tsama mo so futhi.
What is a mind, Papa?
Why did you like a lot of summer? One Travis. Why is it wrong now? But one way, can you see one? I am at you. Okay.
Yeah, these are the guys that we come from.
Oh, yes.
Yo! And these guys don't have style. And no one was called for style. I can let them, my audience, see what I want to I can perform the play. When I'm performing a play, yes, I can be darkness, they put in the auditorium. Hey, but my first acting lesson, I got it from Kani. I was 15 years old. And two lessons that he gave me a definition of drama as he knew it in his days. And he said, drama is the human condition in action and dialogue on stage. And he would say, no, drama is the human condition in action and dialogue on stage. And the second lesson, what he did was he broke down the word actor. He said, A stands for action, C stands for creativity, T stands for technique, O stands for observation, R stands for reaction. All these 5 things you use as an actor. That's it. I've gone further to, basically like break down what he meant about creativity, about technique, about observation. Because the other ones are just standards. Bragib, there was a technique at Bragib. What? late 75 when Bolen Maseko and Ratambo Rata, when we used to call him Rata, and Robert Magwaza, the photographer. They were doing a play and I got involved in the play, and I started as an amateur in 1975, late 1975. First performance was in January in Oddball Hall. Now, here started our act that normally acting Oklahoma stage in order. Sometimes the stage bounce. Yeah. Yes, Mama. No! That's where I started. This is where I want to go to. I'm going to politic a little bit. Now, when I was 15, I was born in 1960. Obrisi Khan was born in 1970. So when I started, in 1975, Kezabo, he was 5 years old. James was born in 1969. So he started with a little. He was 6 years old. In 1981, when I debuted in Libra, I was 21. Aubrey was 11 years old. James was 12 years old. And I'm just saying to you, there is a history, and there is something very wrong. Are you there, Patrick? Is it there? Patrick, good day. What? No, I was again. Who got Patrick, good day. I didn't sound fool. Okay. You know when we were starting, when I was 87, the bomb was at 7 That's a little crazy audition. I used to be with Pink Charters. You know, when I got a call from Pink Charters that there is an audition, then maybe I was dressed in a suit, go to an audition. And as you walk out the street, more and started up and who's a woman was a little bit, oh, Danam, who's ready to hold you? One of my friends' father, we are moved that, well, man, how about you, Father? Who's the well, no, but we are eight. Nyabog, Baba, who said that? I would like to call upon Carol and Mpomolepo to come to the stage and share their memories of Rasayas. Are you there, Carol? Are you there, Mpo? Was that there? Was that his mother? His mother, but not me. His mother, but I'm not saying. You know what they are saying?
Today we are here to celebrate Ndlovu. I was scared of Ndlovu, to be honest with you guys. I was so scared of him. First time Nimbona Yizo Yizo, I portray a character Crispin Tim. I was like, yo, this man like is very rough. So like they're very serious. So I was scared of him, you know. Until I get to work with him. First time Shaka and I was in zone 14. She had the wing van and Atanda my jokes. So I remember one day we were supposed to do a scene, like 6 scenes back to back, me and I, 1-on-1, and I was so scared. I made sure that day that I prepare. I made sure that I read my script, I write my notes and everything, like everything was on point. And I made sure on that day I will laugh because you know he will give you that look. And then, because he didn't want you to waste your time. Like he was so professional in a way, like do your lines, read your lines, because I knew like he always like on point with his lines. So I made sure with Nami I don't laugh on that day. So after those scenes, and then he came to me, and I was still nervous, and he said to me, I was like, Babu, no, and they're like, oh, and then and I was like, oh, I was so relieved. Actually, he reminded me of my granddad. Like he had like our similarities. He was very stylish. He was very, very clean. He utanda my jokes, and my granddad began. And he loved his craft. He respected his craft. He was always on point. Like he didn't want to hear anything when it comes to his craft. He was very, very disciplined. So Tadas Mkumbul, I mean, he left a void, a huge void in the entertainment industry. We learned a lot from him, and we'll always miss him. And I'd like to say to his family, his friends, colleagues, Nati Uguti, Silashegele, and Alisha. Rest in peace. Ndate Patrick Ndlovu. Olale Mokolo Babundwe. Thank you.
Le guy, everything, restaurant. Sure. How's the painting going, bro? Are we there? Oh, that's me. All right. I grew up watching Ndlovu. TV, movies, stage. I'm fortunate to be one of those kids that grew up in the industry, so I could see Miss 2005, I got a call from my agent, Moningi, back then, to sign the contract and collect scripts. And those of you who remember, OK Street, where they go, Rosebank, Umonin's house. You get there, you buzz, they open the gate for you. Or when you drive out, the gate opens automatically. So, when the gate opened, he was still driving that Quran with the wagon. I'm driving in. First thing that he said, hey, go back. Oh, no, why are we fighting now? I don't want to know this. Hey, go back. You change. You're over angry. Now that teacher Yizo came back to me, what's on mine? I went back to the gate, boss. But we just opened for you there, I know.
It's a long story. They opened for me, I signed my contract, I told her the script tickets are mine. The following week, first day on set, guess what? He's playing my grandfather. Hotels. So he started by saying, Jay just spoke out, Jay. Excuse me, no, as long as from that day, he became my friend. We shared so many scenes together, there was this mortuary in Spanish for Orlando, so it was not available during the week, so we could only shoot there on weekends. We knew it would come Sunday or Saturday, that's our day. Call sheet tickets and money enough. And the scenes started before we get on set, we workshopped them. And he made sure by the time you're on set, we know exactly what we're doing. We didn't even feel the pressure of the day with so many scenes, because we knew exactly what we were doing. And then I had to leave Zone 14 at some point. And he was not happy with me at all. I remember I'm phoning him. And the phone reception was bad. We were still shooting. We were shooting Rhythm City for ETV for Hyde Park. So he says to me, "Is there a landline calling on you?" Okay, fine. I gave him the numbers I'm officing. I go to the office. I take the call. And then first thing he says, "No, you better do that show now. You better do that show." I can't even answer back because I'm sitting here with the producers. And it was not even helping that meeting the likes of Angus Gibson in the streets, they would say to me, "Ah, you traitor." And I really felt like a traitor, and I was thank you. Thank you so much. He gave me a call one day. Ndlovu. He was not happy with Ndlovu. What's Ndlovu? Yes, I don't know what happened. I had already left the show. And then he called me and he said, "Hey, come speak to your friend, come speak to your friend." Ndlovu went and said, I need you to come on set. Then I drove to set. When I got there, he told me that he had a hectic day. And then we all know as actors, it's not your day every day. There will be a day where it's not yours at all. So he had too many lines and he couldn't crack them. And then I think I told Patrick, and then he was not able with that. And Patrick, out of all people, he was laughing. Out of all people. Then I said to Patrick, "Hey bro, you better go and apologize." And then Patrick went and apologized. And then he phoned me and said, "Tika, no. What apologize? We're fine. We're fine." That was in the Patrick Ndlovu. And Nadia and I we just kept communicating. Even again on WhatsApp, even this year. I was checking my last messages from him maybe end of April this year. But the one thing that he kept on complaining about, and this is my plea to the industry, theater houses, production houses, please include our parents in your stories. Our parent was not working for a long time. I know I just had Nina saying he did something this year, or was it last year, I don't know, but he complained about work for the longest of time. Please include our parents. I know I've got a parent in the industry, my dad is also an actor, and I can see what it does to him. Please include our parents. It's not like they're retired, it's you, the industry, that retires them. They still want to act. So it's a good bye.
You know, but it's so true, guys. It is so true. If I was not producing the plays that I've acted in after 2010, I wouldn't have been on stage. 2017 was the last time I was on stage in the theatre. And up until this year, when I'm doing Nothing But the Truth, in Theatre on this Way. And I had to produce it myself. That's why I'm saying there is something that is very wrong going on in the industry. And yes, we are being retired before we can even retire. I don't know, people hang their boots, they hang their gloves. What do we hang? we have our intellects. That's what we do, you know. And I meet with a lot of young actors who just graduated and have chats with them. And, you know, we talk about things, we talk about acting. And one thing that I love in the industry, you know, that as actors we do, I mean, you know, when I get into character, you know, when I get into character, you think, well, what do these people do? So how do you get into character? No, when I get into character, you know, I'm just a character. They can't really explain anything beyond that, you know. And truth of the matter, I think that is the biggest BS that we say about getting into character. I think what we want to say is that because character is defined by actions. Character is, writers will never write. They will write, oh, this character does this and this, you know what I mean? It's defined by that. What we want to say is that we are focusing so completely or intently onto the series of actions that we've got to perform that we forget everything else. It is just nothing but concentration. And people concentrate in all aspects of life. You know, a pilot when he's flying, he's concentrating. A driver when he's driving, he's concentrating. You know what I mean? So we're going to say a driver what it takes. But how do you get into character more driving? But that's the beauty of life. Brothers, there's only one bloom from this and so I like you for starting. Otherwise, the kitchen is like a cool.
Hello, everybody. So, Master of Ceremonies, the family that I have spoken much about with Patrick, and unfortunately never really got to know you, but I can tell you, I can confirm how important you were to him, to friends, to colleagues. So Paul called me and he asked if I could put together some scenes, and I had a whole lot to do today. So I went to people that are working with me and I said, look, we need to put together some scenes for Patrick's memorial. And I dipped in and out. And it just reminded me, each time I saw him, I just thought, he was so fantastic. He was a star. He could drive a show, like his enigma people could go along with that enigma. Okay, so I want to talk about that later, but let me go back to the beginning. I didn't really know him. I was aware that he, at the time, had been playing this very sort of warm father kind of figure on a children's television show. And we were casting Yizo Yizo, and Tsuboko Matlatsi said to me, the principal is definitely Patrick Ndlovu. So it was thanks to Tsuboko and his knowledge of Patrick. So I have no memory of an audition, and perhaps we didn't audition him. But the first day on set, in fact, it was the speech that you saw a bit of there where he speaks to the teachers in the staff room. And he was quite tense, quite scary, we had already sort of been shooting for a little bit, and we had already developed a style of big improvisation. So, you would use the script as a springboard for a whole lot of other things. This did not suit Patrick. He didn't like this idea at all. He was a person, he was a professional. He learned his lines, and I think he had sort of certainly worked very hard the night before, learning those lines, and he wanted to deliver those lines. And he wanted the actors opposite him to deliver the lines they were supposed to deliver with him, not anything else. So anyway, he did the first take. I thought, okay, he's interesting. And then I said to him, just be absolutely still. Don't forget any gesture or anything. Because your face is so incredible, your voice is so incredible, you have to do very little. And then he delivered the speech. And he was their principal. And it's not for nothing that he is the first figure that you see in the first season of Yizo Yizo. Because his enigma drove that show. And the actors, the writers loved him so in the role that one of the writers, Mchuzeli Machoba, would constantly try and write him back into the show, but there was a whole agenda, and we couldn't have a fascist principal returning. So, unfortunately, Patrick, when he left Yizo, was gone from that world, and we missed him. So when Zone 14 happened, we knew who our antagonist was going to be. We were thrilled to be able to call Patrick back. And he there was he was the heart of the enigma of that show. In his beautiful suits, listening to that jazz, in that beautiful funeral parlor, with his kind of hangers-on, giving stage a hard time. He was the driver of that show. And he was scary. For anybody, Carol attests to it, anybody that didn't know their lines was suitably scared of Patrick. And there were many people that arrived on set without knowing they had lines. And he would let it be known. He was a straight talker, as the family attests. He also was quite sort of hard on directors. If he didn't like a director, he would let that director know as well. I have had directors in tears trying to deal with that. Anyway, he loved Paul. Paul kind of did all the things he wanted an actor to do. And he loved the scenes that he shared with Paul. And in fact, the reason that Paul left was because constantly, in fact, SABC was a useless partner on Zone 14. They would start, and then they wouldn't continue the contract. And in fact, then Rhythm City started up, and they kind of cherry-picked a number of our actors. And I said to the actors, look, he looks like a solid proposition. They're going to pay you better, go. And so we lost Paul. And we all regretted the people that we lost to Rhythm City. But I wish them well on that show, and it's lasted forever. So it was a good move in many ways. But anyway, when Paul left, I had met this young actor in Alex called Bongani Maseko, who I loved. And I said, don't worry, Patrick. We've got a fantastic person to replace Diga. So I brought on Bongani, and Patrick was not convinced. He gave Sledge quite a hard time. Until I think Bongani is a smart guy, and I think that he understood where he had to be, and he sort of asked Patrick to be his mentor, which Patrick kind of became. And then a warm, solid relationship developed, and that fabulous duo of Malloy and Sledge graced our screens. Until such time as the SABC, in its wisdom, closed the show down. Which was a tragedy to me, because it was such a great vehicle for so many actors. And it was great for Orlando West. No, Orlando East. People in the community worked on it. It had an incredibly good spirit. And Patrick was at the heart of all of that. And he was a star. And the show closed down, and I went on to do Spire, in which there wasn't a role for Patrick. And inexplicably, he did not immediately go on to more work. I mean, he was an extraordinary actor. And I could not get it, that he didn't immediately just go on to something else. And that was incredibly hard for Patrick. One, because as a family person, as a patriarch, he wanted to be able to solidly support his family. And we often spoke about that. And as an actor, he wants to be acting. And I offered him, I gave him roles we gave him roles in Rhodes and Yizo. But they were small roles. They were not roles that suitably challenged him. And my dream really was, I would constantly say to the writers, come on, let's make a show in which we can put Patrick at the heart of it again. And alas, that hasn't happened. I have to say though, I was so happy to see him shine in Knuckle City. He was so fabulous once again on that film. And I think he got a SAFTA for it. Is it right? Sort of well-deserved SAFTA. He should have had many, many awards. Perhaps he did. But Patrick was a case in point. I know many actors that are incredibly talented that I think, damn, They just don't get the opportunity. And I'm really sorry that he didn't have a last great role. Perhaps as a warm father, perhaps as a teacher, whatever. I mean, I'm sure I made him bad guys, but I'm sure he could play anything. So, thank you to the family for him. He was a gift. Thank you all. Thank you.
No, thank you. A big hand for our speech. Patrick, Sangu, Baba, I hope you're ready. Just make yourself ready as I'm speaking now. Ukona? Patrick? Ukona? Okay, all right. Be ready. I'll be calling you now. You know, and when I say I have actually journeyed and made observations of my own kind, you come across, you know, where people talk about it as theater acting and camera acting. I have a different view. I think it is about space. When you're doing camera acting, you're dealing with space, frames, isn't it? Working within a frame. And I understand where, you know, what you're saying with Rapet Anders. You know, you're dealing with frames. And that's space, that's the space that you're working in. And when you're dealing with a stage, this is the space. This is the space. You know what I mean? And for me, is that if you want to see amazing performance or natural performance or make an observation, that is the O in the actor. Make observation as an actor. Watch people, for instance, when Basesongwe, or in a place where, you know, there is not even a PA system. People naturally do variety, and it's projection. They are allowing themselves to be heard. And then Tina, if you give me that space within act, which I'm addressing you, you see what? We start to try and make a performance. And now that's what we call theater acting. There are only two types of acting as far as I'm concerned. Good and bad. So people do bad acting and they say they're doing theater acting. These are things that we somehow need to have conversations about. I thought I should just last energy and now, you call this a master class. Give a master class. You know what I mean? Sabu, what's up? Give some clap again, ladies and gentlemen. This is performance.
But just two more things. Ladies and gentlemen, this should be a day of celebration. You know, as I was coming through, what struck me and hit me was there's a red carpet. But this red carpet, we're working on it just to remember. Would it have been nice that there's moments of celebration, nights that get made? You know, you've seen people like, in America, when they honored whatever Bill Cosby, all the comedians were there and sharing their own inspirations with Bill Cosby. And whoever, even someone with, I haven't seen many, but I know that they do that. They celebrate their own while they're still alive. So that when we recollect and remember them when they have passed on, we have actually given them our love while they were still alive. You know? I'm saying it because I know I'm going to be a victim of it myself. And I'm already seeing victims of it. And I'm saying, let us change the track. You know, and we have suffered apartheid and suffered the pain of discrimination during apartheid. And then when we think, now, you know, we are free. We still get discriminated, but we get discriminated by our own. Ragib wrote a beautiful song in the show that I debuted in, Hungry Spoon. And the song went like, when you've been let down by someone close and dear, it takes time to believe. Your very best friend, who knew your very heart, your secrets and your thoughts, becomes your enemy. Ooh, you feel stripped and bad as you hold back a tear, still trying to believe. Things are said of you, only you too knew. You can't deny them too, you pain-free. But we had giants, we are riding on the shoulders of giants, but those giants are basically like fading into oblivion as if they never existed. I know I am riding on their shoulders. I am what I am, not because of them. I'm reminded of the juniors who said, and I don't know why they trust these boys. How do you trust somebody who's this way of sharing? Who's a couple? Whatever else, I'm telling you, sister.
But what is beautiful is now this one is super more to that man. And then Mighty Kani sees his English teacher at grade 11 or whatever. So, hello, ma'am. Ma'am, who are you? Oh, ma'am. You've forgotten me. You used to teach me English. Ma'am, I get away when I use Facebook. Now, we question it, but it's like, you know, it wasn't bogus. And then he goes, hey, gents. You see this lady? I'm what I am. But he meant it in a good way, because today he can speak English. It's today he is teaching. Man. We are ready on the shoulders of giants. Kutuma, Sister Mobi, she left. One day, Agasapui, Hashem, we are loser. Gift of Mtacheli Bad. Ndlovu says. And then while they're coming on, Shane, that's okay. And Shane will come with his tribute. They are laying the carpet for you with song.
To love was it, to
You know, when I grew up, the kids will know it. Negile daughter, let's go Presbyterian. So Negile daughter, let's Presbyterian, and we'll go to revivals. You know, and when we go to revivals, you know, what used to fascinate me is how you find a guy, and I saw, Ladies and gentlemen, sing glad I give him a big hand.
Dumelang, allow me to extend my greetings without any formal protocol. You may say the family, especially House Kelina. I call it her house not out of disrespect, but it's more out of familiarity. And the daughter to prospects. Maybe let me put a disclaimer before I get into it. Yesterday when I saw where my name was on the lineup of the program, I decided not to offer anything formally because I knew that by the time I ascended to the podium to talk, everything that needs to be said shall have been said by then. So, in gatherings like this, when you are the last speaker, you are sort of disadvantaged unless you dig deeper into your reserves. Furthermore, another disclaimer is that I'm less qualified to be standing here and talking about a towering figure like Brastiles when people like Ndlovu Kani are still here, they're still alive. As you said, do I call you Achise or Sima?
Sir.
As you have said, you're standing on the shoulders of those that came before you. Later on, as the products in the literary space, we stand in the shoulders of Ndlovu Kani, who stood in the shoulders of Bikisha and stand dragging others. So, like I said, that I didn't write anything formal, I just made notes as I was seated there. But one thing I know as a matter of fact is that no one in this entire auditorium will dispute the fact that Musaki has produced stalwarts of note, of societal importance, and it has done so in every other societal fraternity you can ever think of. Be it intellectuals, be it musicians, be it artists. So I don't know, according to Braki, or is it you, sir? I'm not sure which one to use because you said you don't have a title, an employment title. So as a result, I want to talk a couple of styles within the context of a collectivity, of that greatness that comes out of Randfontein. The play How Long was basically a Muslim production. Why I say so, it's simply because you had Bra Styles, you had Bra Victor Methomakun, popularly known as Bra Simpi, you had Bra Gunman Pai, and by extension, I'm coming there. So by extension, you had Keith Sito. He envied the talent and he privately wished that he could be a product of Musaki. To an extent that he decided to go get married to Musaki. It was so bad. You can be associated with this place. So if you go deeper into that how long crew, indeed you had Brakit Mufolo on the trumpet, you had the likes of Sydney Guy on the saxophone and Victor Makofo on the piano. So Ndlovu, there he goes. He's proving me right. There he goes. So greatness, Yabra Styles, is not isolated. It's within a collective. It's a collective legacy, Yamusaki. And no doubt that if we were in the football arena, Bra Styles will be likened to the great Pele. Or if we were in the boxing field, he'll probably be equivalent to the great Muhammad Ali. If it was basketball that we're talking about, his terrain of talent was exercised in the field of basketball. There is no doubt that he would be likened to the greats that came in that sport, such as Michael Jordan. Such was the greatness of the man that continued to roar more and more, that continued to become more and more alive with each and every acting cast that he got. His star continued to shine with each production, and as I've just said, every production he was in, his star continued to shine, his light continued to shine. Therefore, the entertainment or the arts industry, I'm not sure which one is suitable, if practiced correctly and responsibly, it becomes the most important tool. It becomes the most powerful tool in a human life. Because practitioners in this space, I liken them to people like Baruti. I liken them to psychologists. I liken them to Professor Lidina Katsasezo. Why I'm saying that, and remember earlier I qualified the statement. I said the industry, if practiced and utilized correctly and responsibly, it becomes the most powerful tool in human life. Hence, I liken it with some of the personalities that are regarded as powerful and important in society. Because through your acting, through your singing, through your performances, you soothe people's souls. You influence people's lives. Therefore, no doubt that through his talent, his gift, his skill, Bra Styles touched many a soul. Because if millions of people can leave what they are doing to sit down and watch you perform, to sit down and watch you exercise what is God given in you, then you know that you didn't just come to add numbers in this world. You came to see and you came to conquer. Indeed, Brastiles was an achiever. He was a conqueror. He was extraordinary in more ways than one. That you only see in the longevity in his acting. As I end, Diabona MC, and give me some MC. Diabona MC, it's always another disadvantage of. At least I want to today, I could have been long cut. Let me just conclude by reading what I wrote on my broadcast platform on Saturday. And on this one, Marcelo, I'm the originator, there's no plagiarism. It's the way before I entered the market. Okay. Patrick Brastiles Ndlovu was a real McCoy, an actor par excellence, a thespian extraordinaire. Talent is innate in all of us. We are gifted in one form or the other. However, what catapults people to unassuming, iconic, and legendary status is their ability not only to hold, but to also sustain and grow their talents, gifts, and skills. For as much as it is humanly possible, in order for them to be able to continuously keep their relevance, longevity in their chosen fields. This is what sets apart iconic and legendary individuals like Brastiles from the rest. It is this unique and uncanny neck that sets apart the extraordinary, like Brastiles, from the ordinary. Brastiles took to acting as a fish would take to water. He dazzled viewers and fellow actors alike with his acting skills, talents, and gifts with so much ease and effortlessness. Watching him act, you would swear that acting was intrinsic to his DNA and blood vessels. The subtle natural swag and nonchalance in his acting was the stuff you will only find in the special ones, the chosen ones. And it is indisputable that Brastiles was indeed the special one. He was definitely the chosen one. There is no doubt that Brastiles was a real McCoy, an actor par excellence, a thespian extraordinaire, and a true theater, television, and film impresario whose dazzling acting talent effortlessly transcended these acting platforms. Brastiles was a multi-award-winning actor whose profile in the industry lives like a galaxy of stars, and with him as the gravitational force that holds these stars together. In a career spanning for over 4 decades, Brastiles featured in various high-profile viewership chart-topping and award-winning theater, television, and film productions, both as an actor and a director, proving his versatility and mettle as a rare talent. Humility personified, I guess we've heard that over and over again. Not the one to let his dizzying achievements in the South African acting industry go to his head. Those who crossed professional paths with him in his long-standing career simply describe him as a consummate professional, a feat not usually associated with people of such gigantic status like that of Brastiles. Society has witnessed how individuals who have achieved just a fraction of Brastiles' accolades usually grow big heads, start working on imaginary springs, and behave as if they have arrived. On the contrary, Prastiles was humility personified. He was very well grounded. He was a real epitome of human excellence. We can all learn a thing or two from his glossy book of professional life. If I had to characterize Prastiles in one sentence, I would simply write, Prastiles was simply the best. No one can dispute that the man was a rare gem. This is not surprising at all, simply because Prastiles in the Autiakasi gave us the Autifan Moshake in my hometown. Is a home to real trailblazers, groundbreakers, winners and champions across various societal fraternities, which has produced towering figures of equivalent iconic and legendary characters like that of Prastiles. And this is what made Prastiles' name to be reckoned with. This is what made him a national treasure. I know from time immemorial society has been initiated with a bizarre teaching that when someone dies, then we must proclaim that their soul must rest in peace. However, please allow me to take an unorthodox posture and proclaim that instead of resting in peace, may the soul of Prastiles continue to vibrate in love, peace, and joy. May I proclaim that he transcends to become Idlozi elihle, Kuni ogatsheni, Idlozi lokuthula, Idlozi lempumelelo, Idlozi lethando, Idlozi lenhlanhla. Thank you very much.
You see how gracious I am. But you know, Rakit, when we're talking about the creative industry and all that, but here's something as well. What I love about our government, they come with these beautiful things. Creative industry, you know? So which means we fall within industries. Yeah? Manufacturing industry, mining industry. And I'm not here for beautiful people. Then they start looking for black industrialists. Yeah? And, but they don't look for black industrialists in the creative industry. So, now we are industrialists. And then what is an industrialist again? Go into the dictionary. You know? An industrialist is what you think of somebody who does manufacturing, you know, whatever mining bar and all those things, isn't it? That's what you think, man. That's an industrialist. But an industrialist is somebody who manages an industry. That's the dictionary meaning of it. So man asked abangeni mina sisibhekiseni lezi ngiyabuzwa ngishilo ukhohlwa ngimshakile and all that. But here's the thing, guys. You know, our country, you know, my father, when Mandela was released, he cried. And in his tears or in his crying, basically, it was almost a relief of finally. You know what I mean? entire different years. You know? And but here's what is happening. As Silo, who's now born in Gauteng, I can't go and work. Look at me. I will have a challenge. I will have a challenge. Because I want to not what. And this is what we have been reduced to. That we have become so territorial. So, but our boasting for somehow, you know, we must really truly racial, you know what I mean? Because it has grown to be very, very destructive. Because now we can't even cross-pollinate amongst ourselves.
But Braki is cross-pollinate.
To where? No, it's not the desperation. Look at the desperation. No, but there was metal. There was metal. Like you go, okay, I didn't for her. Okay, you remember that when we consulted Barry, you said something and it reminded me of two things that you said, you spoke about. You said acting, I never trained as an actor, but I've read very widely, you know, and there's a book here, and writing kudos to Brad Dixon because he made me aware of that book called 6 Lessons for Acting by Richard Borelewski. And in his introduction, Richard Borelewski says, acting like priesthood is a calling. That just, you know. And here's another thing, and you spoke so, you know, eloquently about, you know, people stop whatever they're doing and come to watch us and all that. And it is a very privileged position in that sense. And I remember, but this I read, I think it was an autobiography, and somebody there said, that in theater is like the doormat of society. The society comes to the theater to dust off the dust, to shake off the dust that they have gathered through the day. And from it they get rejuvenated and all that. And Sputa Mawai, just yesterday, Omalo, we were together and he said something that Dieter read the Riebler. You know that the German director, there was a German director was the head. And he said Dieter, in his German accent, said, if the theater is black, the artistic director of that place must be shot down. And at the present moment, we live with so many theaters that are black, are dark, and they don't have performances. There are, we've got stuff to sort out. We really have got stuff to sort out. But in the politics, before on this gift, and then no matter to work again, before this gift, I would like to ask Patrick. Patrick. You know, Patrick Shine, but Patrick City, City, please come and give us the vote of thanks. Names are the one. Thank you, Robert.
Program Director, gracious one, Siyabonga, with the way you've taken us through this process. I greet you and the industry you represent parents to have watched on television, we were not going to see our license. But at least the money that comes from there should benefit other people. Ndlovu family and the rest of the families that are related to you. Communities, yes, and outside communities from around South Africa. The definition of local South Africa should be all South Africans. Siyabonga kakhulu. It has been a very difficult time for us as family to lose Ukwa Styles. Yes, a lot of things have been said, but there's a lot more that haven't been said. We thank each and every one of you for coming out here to spend your valuable time. Now, if I were to say something about thanking you for your valuable time, you in the entertainment industry, whatever they call it, you are the people that know that time is money. There's money that you could be making that you're not making because you sacrificed those 3 hours of your entire life to come and be with us here. Siyabonga kakhulu, siyabonga, siyabonga. We don't wish for anybody to leave us. We don't wish for anybody to die. But in the event that it happens to somebody else again, we hope to see the same support. Somebody said something about the number of people. This is expected. We are all human and we behaving like human. Program director said Silo Makigango. I have just been requested or reminded to indicate that the funeral of our brother, Ukwa Styles, is going to be on Wednesday. It's going to start at the Methodist Church in Mhlakeni. And then obviously it will go accordingly, and we'll try to keep to as strict a time as possible so that whoever comes to support us does not end up wasting that time of their lives. Thank you so much for thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've come almost to the end of the time. Oh, the time. The time for the funeral?
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Yes.
Mhlakeni Methodist.
Methodist, and then after this, we'll set for.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Ndlovu, barricking, trying to find expensive ways, you know, my way. Baby girl, man. You know, Sweet Honey on the Rock is an American group called Sweet Honey on the Rock. There's a lovely song called Breath. Breath, if you have time, whether you can, or YouTube, listen to that song. There's a beautiful line out of it, and that says, "Those who have died have never ever left. The dead have a pact with the living." And that pact. Sometimes, when you think, if he was here, he would be saying this. The voices of our parents never leave our heads. Even when you are down, you would know already. My mother or my father would say this, and by just remembering that, that's a pact that yet they do with us, because they stay in our minds. In closing, I know, I mentioned names, and I would be thought, well, I'm a coward. I'm not a coward. The names that I've mentioned, if they want to ask them a little tete-a-tete, I'm ready. I I didn't mention them because I'm trying to attack them and then doing it, but I think there are things that needs to be said. You know, and if my generation doesn't say them, you know, the other coming generation will say them but not hear the ground. And I didn't mention the age because I've actually respected them. Both of them have directed me, even though I've mentioned their age. So I but there's something very wrong that is happening, and we need to sit down and get it right. You know? And that's a small way, you know, and that's the way it's a small way. Hey, I've got a young wife. I've got a young wife, and who am I to choose? Fight paraphrase. I mean, that's what I'm so very worshiping. And all because of my young wife, baby, there's my wife that I'm on social media. That's my wife. That is why I told her, since in China previous TV, what are you? You know, but let me close, ladies and gentlemen, by saying, I have a gift. Let me close by, I think there's a poem that I wrote for Kani. Kani used to run a modeling agency. And they said, I want to so, but mama, you know, just at the end of it all, the picture was the things. You know, I wrote a poem for Nakidribani, and Nakidribani used to run a modeling agency called Siazazi. You know, and on its first day anniversary, you know, I went there, you know, to watch, you know, to be part of the celebration. Actually, I'm older than you know, and that inspired this poem that I wrote in dedicating it to Nakidribani, entitled Siazazi, Reizema. We know who we are. From the bowels of duty, once proud beings then reduced to a corrosive humility, our souls disgracefully packed and sold, time's tick turned the meek to bold, elevating our spirit to a height much to perplex arrogance might. Because now, Siazazi, we know who we are. Thank you. Gift. Come give us your gift and your soul. Artists are very special. I can't dwell on this or maybe expand on this, but artists, we are very special. And we've got to carry ourselves in that manner. Give us umjubujubu's habits and some singing more. Singers is in beauty. Yasi, leso suma. Siso easy. Singing easy. Sis bonus number. Says, sing it.
Oh,